Hello and welcome to the Life as a Fitness Instructor podcast. My name is Lorna Marie and I'm your host. I'm a fitness presenter, brand creator of Yogascape, fitness instructor and wife and dog mum to little Harvey. Through this podcast, I really want to inspire and share tips and tricks and really be that friend in your headphones or your earbuds that I feel I never really had in the industry until now. So I'm trying to share as much of my passion with you as I possibly can so you can learn from me and everyone else who I interview on this podcast from their years of experience in the industry. If you enjoy this podcast and you get value from it, please do like, subscribe and share on your socials so we can help other people in this incredible industry where we get to change lives, but one that can also be really quite tough at times too. Let's support one another and lift each other up. I hope you enjoy this episode. Very warm welcome, Amanda, to the podcast. Now, Amanda is first and foremost a fitness instructor, and I know you used to teach a lot out in the community and you're doing online now too. But Amanda is also founder of an active wear company called Wild Legs, which do the most funky two pieces and leggings ever. I absolutely love them. So Amanda, over to you. If you could just introduce yourself to our listeners and explain in more words and better.
Oh, hi Lorna, and thank you very much for inviting me on today. So I started out in fitness about 7 years ago with Revive. Just a couple of classes in the community. I got inspired by a friend who had the crazy bouncy boots with the springs on the bottom, and completely unfit and deconditioned. I got on a pair of boots and started getting fit, which was great fun. And that was what I taught when I got started. And I've been doing all sorts since lockdown. My husband's joined me. He's a fitness instructor and PT as well now, and a friend and a couple more friends. So we're just a little team now. And I've been doing that for about 7 years.
Oh wow,
So,
that's amazing. So
yeah.
do you all teach in your home studio?
No, most of us are out in the community. It's just me and my husband who teach in the home studio, and he does his PTs as well here. So we all do different things. Like some of the instructors focus more on like the rebounding side of things, and Casey loves boxercise, and something we call body tone, which is just our own little thing. So yeah, we're all doing our own different things, but together. So it's really good. We all support each other.
That's amazing. So just for those who are interested in kind of building a group or tribe or whatever you want to say of instructors underneath them and underneath their brand, how does that work for you guys? How do you go about doing that?
Well, the three of us who are like the core in the business, which is myself, Katie, and Simon, um, we're sort of full time in the business. And then over the years, we've friends, people who come to classes who've become friends. They've sort of either shown an interest in, oh, I'd quite like to do this, or we've thought, oh my God, you'd be brilliant, one or the other. And it's just kind of it naturally happened with first two friends, Karen and Sharon. I've known Sharon for years, and she's been in fitness for years anyway. And I just said, well, do you want me to take away a lot of the things that instructors find really challenging? Having the booking systems, all the systems set up for waivers, knowing where to get hold of things, how to negotiate with venues, get things set up, music issues, equipment. I provide them with equipment, look after them, give them reduced price wild legs, all those sorts of things, and really help them with marketing as well. Because before I had my previous, in a previous life about two back, I worked in marketing and advertising. So I really enjoy the business side of building the teams and marketing as well. So yeah, I kind of said I can help you with all that stuff if you'd like to come and be an instructor with us. So yeah, that's how it's evolved. And since then, there's about 8 of us now. So no more,
Oh,
no more for now.
wow. Wow, that's incredible. And that's really amazing how you've built that up in a short space of time because you said that you've only been doing fitness for about 7 years, is that right?
Yeah, and I was on my own for the first sort of 4. Then hubby joined me during lockdown. He was already trained as a fitness instructor, thankfully, and had done his level 3. And then when COVID hit, I said, well, I didn't say because he didn't have a job anymore. I said, you don't have a job now. Come and join me, because he always wanted to, but we never thought we'd have the nerve to do it because of him losing a regular income. So we were forced into doing it, and it was best thing ever, really. And Katie's job was all a bit uncertain as well. And I said, well, just come on over, let's do this together. So we did.
Absolutely amazing. I
Yeah.
think in COVID, it was very much a fight or flight sort of situation for a lot of people, but a lot of fitness instructors, a lot who unfortunately left the business, and then a lot of people who thought, right, I actually have to make this work. And I
Yeah.
think sometimes when you're forced into those positions, you really do, just like you've done, and in an even shorter space of time, like in the space of 3 years, having a team of 8 of you, which is just
It
incredible. So well
happened
done.
by accident, really.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's even nicer. It's just so organic and happens so naturally. But going back to where you started in the fitness industry, I know you said that you turned up to this class where you had springs on your shoes and you were in a position where you felt like you were really deconditioned at the start. How did you transition from going to somebody who didn't really work out to then having the courage to step into a class for a first time as well?
Um, I I think where I was in my life at the time, was the motivator, really. Sort of just not even realizing I was perimenopausal was, probably, now I look back, hindsight is a wonderful thing. I'd looked at my mum, and saw what was ahead of me, and I didn't want to be in that place. And I think it was quite a pivotal moment when, my mum had a fall in some bad weather in a supermarket car park, and really quite spectacularly broke her shoulder, in 3 places. And she was completely out of action. She was 80 at the time. And she ended up having to move in with me, and we spent a lot of time, in the hospital. And when I can remember looking at the posters on the wall, of the bones when they had osteoporosis, which is what my mum had, and thinking, I'm very much like my mum in very many ways, like physically, like our body types. I was more like my mum than my dad, and I thought, this is coming for me if I don't do something about it. It was the same for my mum's sister, and it kind of gave me a bit of a jolt to say, I'm in my early 40s now, and if I don't make some changes to my really quite unhealthy lifestyle, I could be in this situation. So I first of all did a bit of a couch to 5K thing. Realized my knees, my hips, they didn't like that. They didn't like that at all. And then I did a little bit of Pilates. That was the first group fitness class actually I ever went to. Before I did the bouncy boots thing, I'd gone to a Pilates class, and, met a really, really lovely lady who I'm still in touch with now. And I still remember all the things she used to teach me then, and use even some of her words now in my classes. Um, and then I discovered my friend had imported these bouncy boots, and went along to trial that. And, that combined with finding a local Kettler size class, I decided I needed to do something, and group fitness was the way forward, because I felt more motivated to be around other people. And yeah, that's kind of where I got to, I suppose.
Wow, what a brilliant journey. So you got to that point and then started teaching classes yourself, and then your husband joined the team. How do you find it? You can be as honest or dishonest as you like. How do you find it working alongside your husband? Because I know a lot of people in the fitness industry do this. A lot of
Yeah.
couples, whether they own a studio together or they do a PT business. I work with my husband as well. He does all the tech side of everything. I know Lisa Hillier from GrooveX, she does too. How do you work the dynamic of working with your husband?
It's probably quite similar. Simon's very good at all the tech stuff, so, yeah, he gets the, random. Can you do this to the website, please? Like immediately, like questions. Um, and he's very, very good with all the, detail. It's probably, we're quite different, and it works because if we were both trying to do the same thing, I don't think it would work. But he hates social media, marketing, all that sort of stuff. Whereas my background with sales and marketing comes natural to me. And I love building the business, whereas he's quite happy just to be relaxed and chilled and not be chasing after something all the time. So it works really quite well. He'll take on all the tech stuff. He better with PT clients. I'm more of a performer. So yeah, I think we're a really good balance for each other. Obviously, he's always right. Obviously.
I love that.
Yeah,
Absolutely
obviously.
love that. We're really, really similar. I can see quite a lot of similarities with you and me when you said, right, I need something doing to the website. I need it doing right now. I'll say to Willa, I need it doing like yesterday. So can this happen ASAP, please?
I remember when we launched the Wild Legs site, and he built this site. It's actually being redeveloped at the moment by a company. I've let him off from this one, but I gave him a deadline, and the night before things were going wrong, and he was just like, "You've just like given me a week to do something that would take me normally like weeks to do," and I just said, "It's got to be out. It's got to be out tomorrow." So yeah, thankfully I've let him off the hook now. Got somebody else to do it.
Oh, well, I feel like that brings us really nicely onto Wild Legs. So, how did you get into making your own activewear brand? Like, where did that all come from?
Well, I always loved the funky leggings. Not, I say always. I didn't always love them. I started out like most people do when they've never done fitness before and they're not necessarily confident. Black leggings, hiding in the black. And then I discovered through just popping up on my social media, I think, a company called Sturdy by Design, who I still think are amazing to this day. And if I didn't have my own brand, I would definitely still buy them. And I bought some really cool leggings from them and absolutely loved them. And then went through trying all the different funky leggings brands. And there was always something, either with like the bra top or the leggings. And this is why I appreciate how everyone feels out there. Not everyone can find what they need. And I'm not saying that Wild Legs provides everything that everyone needs, but at the time I actually selfishly wanted to develop something that really suited me and the people that I had in my little circle. So I tried a little collaboration with the company, but they unfortunately didn't provide bras, and they were absolutely fabulous. Um, so for me, it was, if I can't find it, I have to do it. And I'd had experience in my previous I say employment, it was my company. We were a craft business, and I had imported things from other countries, had them made for us. So I had some experience of doing this, and thought, just use your experience and your excitement for this new thing and put it together and see what you can do. So it took me 2 years to find my manufacturer.
Wow.
It really did. Endless conversations with various other manufacturers and long communications with this one to feel confident to part with some money to get some stuff made. But when I did, yeah, it was really good. And we've gone through some ups and downs. Absolutely, there were moments where I thought, what have I done? This is just too much to take on. When I had like fabric turn up, which wasn't quite right, and things weren't right, but I did it. I've kept with it, and I'm in too deep now, so it's got to happen.
Yeah, you're like, there's no turning around now. This is it.
Yeah, yeah. But
Well,
it was so important at the time for me to get something that I felt I could control a little bit more. So it was great having collaborations where other people made stuff for me, but I wanted to say the ankles are a little bit too thin for my thicker ankles. Could we have a slightly wider ankle, or could we make it this size, because these ladies prefer it to cover their bottoms, and these want a crop top. And it was just pulling all that in house for me and being able to start something that, because Wild Legs is so new. It's only like 2.5 years old, so we're still amateurs in this, and I'm learning all the time. And I was saying to Rachel Holmes recently, it's like when I get returns and I get questions and I get problems with things that, you know, inevitably, however amazing you think your products are and your brand is, there will always be people that it doesn't suit for one reason. And whilst you can't please all the people all the time, these things are brilliant because they make you think, I didn't think of that, because that
Mm.
doesn't affect me, but it affects that group of people. So how can I now do something to help that group of people?
Yeah.
So it's going to take time, and it's going to take time to develop all the products to get them how I would want them. And even then, I'm sure there'll still be changes, but that's the excitement of running it. It's like, it's always, there's always going to be something that I can improve on, that I can deliver to a different audience. Yeah, I just love it.
No, that's great. And I think that there's 2 points there that I really want to pick out. And the first one is that feedback isn't necessarily a bad thing, no matter what that feedback is. Because I think as fitness instructors, we always ask for it, but then secretly hope that nobody is going to give us any bad feedback or it's already positive. And as soon as someone gives you one piece of negative feedback, even if it's just, constructive criticism, that's the thing that you hold on to. But that is the thing that is possibly the most important thing. So you can make those alterations and, like you say, cater for that type of person. Or maybe it's
Yeah.
something you didn't think about. And then also the fact that it's always going to be ever evolving, like even the fitness industry anyway. So with active wear, there's going to be new trends and also new challenges and new things that people want or want to try. And then even with fitness in general, like fitness classes and fitness trends, just trying to keep up with it all the time. But that is the exciting part of it, isn't it? Just
Yeah.
keeping up with it and evolving.
Well, it's like, you know, we always joke as fitness instructors, oh, we've had the same warm up for the last 30 years, isn't it? You know, those sorts of things. And it's like, obviously, that, you know, that's that's a bit of a joke amongst us. But with things like activewear as well, like you say, things change, styles change all the time. And if you stick with the same thing constantly, and you're just never going to grow, are you? It's always about changing it, evolving it, and seeing what people need and what they love. It's the same like you say with the class. I had a lady say to me that I really love what you're doing in this class, but I feel that if you did this, you know, a few people have said, and sometimes you think as an instructor, oh no, why did I not notice that? But it's wonderful when someone comes to you with that and you think, well, if there are a few people feeling like that and I can change that, there might be millions of people out there that don't tell you.
Yeah.
So I take every little bit of feedback with, give it to me. What can I do with this? I'm not going to take it personally, I promise. Maybe sometimes, but I'll try not to. But you just learn from it, don't you?
You do. You learn and you grow. And I love the term fall forwards as well. There's never a fail. You learn from it. You fall forwards, you take the feedback on and you make things better. Now, you
Absolutely.
must be so, so busy, Amanda, with running Wild Legs and helping out your instructors and also running your own classes, teaching your own classes. What does an average day look like for you or an average week?
Gosh. They're all, I was going to say they're all so different. Most, there is obviously structure because I teach fitness classes.
Yeah.
I'm so in love with clubber size. It's one of my favorite things to teach. So whatever happens, actually, there's two things, and that's fitness Pilates I love as well. But those are the two things that I will never let go of. I let go of doing the rebounding stuff because I had other people who were new and passionate, excited about doing it. So I'll always teach my classes, particularly the ones that I love, and I do a lot of older adults fitness. So I try to do things that don't sort of bust me. So as I've got something left to give to everything else that I've got to do as well. Um, and currently I'm doing a little bit of work on me too, and trying to find a bit more time for me. And I think it's really important when you are super busy and you're juggling a million and one things to not get sucked into that to the point where you don't look after yourself. Um, and I'm sure you appreciate with all what you do as well. You can get to a point where everybody needs a little bit of you, and then you haven't got anything of you left for you and your family and your social life and everything else. So yeah, I'm really trying at the moment to carve out some time for me to train. which I've never done like my own personal workouts before. And shout out here to Kelly Reid and Jason Rose because they're helping myself and my husband in that area to do some focus on ourselves,
Brilliant.
which has been in a very short time really quite pivotal, to be honest. I think in just my thinking. So my week is, you just asked me a question. I just got completely off on a tangent there, but
No, it's
my week
brilliant. It's good.
is is both structured for classes and then lots and lots of admin time and trying to learn and grow with knowledge for teaching and also business knowledge. Yeah, when I talk about it, I don't know how I fit it all in, to be quite honest, but I do. And I
What
still try and get 8 hours as well. I try.
I was just going to say that. Like, what time does your working day normally start? When do you normally get up? And when does it normally finish? Because I think with instructors and being in the fitness business, sometimes it can be really difficult because you can be working early morning classes, you could be doing the evening, you could be PTing during the day, then you've got all your admin to catch up on as well. So how do you manage your days in terms of your times?
I'm normally up by 6:30, 6 to 6:30. And first thing, coffee. Let's start with the coffee. And I spend my mornings doing bits of social media. So I try and look at what's going out. And I should be scheduling. Rachel Holmes will tell me off for this. I should have it all scheduled, but I don't. I'm quite spontaneous with it. I do have some bits scheduled, but not enough. And then I've either got a morning class or I do some admin in the day. And most of my classes are either sort of 11:30. I never really plan early classes, um, just because I need to do things in the morning,
Yeah.
especially with wild legs as well, packing, because I pack all the parcels and do all the things that perhaps larger companies would pay other people to do, but that has to be done at the moment by us. So I'm on to that. And then I go out in the evenings, not every evening, and teach classes or do Zoom classes. Saturday morning I teach. It's probably the only morning that's like 9 a.m. at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't do too badly, I think, in organising it. Sometimes I get a bit frantic and drowning, but that's normal, I think, isn't it?
I think we all have those little moments where we feel like we might have taken too much on, or the moments where we feel a little bit stressed or overwhelmed. And one thing that I've come to learn over the past few years is, yes, we definitely need to make sure that we're making those pockets of time for us, but also that stress is sometimes how you perceive it. Sometimes you really can get stressed about being stressed, and
Yeah,
it's not always
absolutely.
a bad thing. Um,
Yeah.
but what would you say you would do to look after you, and maybe some advice for some of our listeners who are instructors as well? What examples could you give?
Um, I think one of the things that tends to come up in little groups I'm in and stuff is that a lot of fitness professionals don't find the time for their own training and their own relaxation. We spout wonderful things to our groups about, taking out time to hydrate, to get some sunshine outside, to, go for walks, spend time with the family, prepare food that's going to fuel our bodies in the right way and have time to think about it, plan, go shopping. We tell everyone all this stuff, and get your 8 hours sleep if you can, all those things. But I think we don't. A lot of us don't do it ourselves, um, and it's not because we don't want to. It's because our focus is always very much on other people. So I can't even remember what your question was at the start now. Sorry.
No, you're all good. No,
Where were we
it's
going with
totally
this?
relevant. It's totally relevant because it's completely true. You're so right. Just examples of what you do to look after you and
Yes.
make sure that you're taking care of you, and maybe some examples that people could take away and try.
Yeah, sure. One of the things that I did recently was hook up with a guy who does sound baths. and I went along. I booked myself onto a sound bath because I thought if I have to lie in a room and not speak and just breathe because it'll annoy other people if I talk, then that's where I've got to go, just to shut myself down. And I really, really loved it. I had such a great experience. So him and I teamed up, and then we delivered some of these events, but we did them together so as I could both um, get something out of it in terms of business in offering to my clients. But I was able to take part. I did my little Pilates bit at the beginning, some stretching, and then I was able to have that hour with my clients and friends, as most of them are now, to actually have some relaxation time as well. So that was quite a good way to build in something where I didn't feel like, and I know it's not a waste of time relaxing, that's a terrible thing to say, but that's kind of where I've come from in my background, is like I never stop. But that made me think, well, I'm doing something really positive for my business, but I'm also able to get something out of it, and my clients too. So that was quite a good thing to do, is to team up with another well-being person.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah,
That's a
and
really interesting idea, actually. That I really love that.
well, if it's
Um,
something that you would like to do and you're passionate about, but you feel you can't squeeze it into your schedule, make it part of your schedule so you can enjoy it too, if that makes sense.
Oh, totally. That's exactly what I wanted to achieve with Yogascape as well. So instructors teaching something that's actually really good for their body and something
Mm.
that they're probably not very good at, as in making time to do yoga and to do stretching and to do something that's going to make them take a bit of time out. It kind of, well, you're teaching it anyway, you've got to do it. So that's
Yeah.
part of the reason behind delivering a class, something that would look after us as instructors too, because it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And I think it's hard though sometimes, because when you're delivering the session, it can be you're not in you for you. You're
Mm,
in you for delivering for other people. So whilst it's really great for your body, I think doing things like the sound bath type thing was able to quieten the mind a lot
yeah,
more as well,
yeah.
which is very hard for me. So that was one thing that really really helped.
Yeah, I can tell you,
Maybe
I've
that's
done a
something.
sound bath before and I had the best night's sleep after a sound bath I think I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, same. And the resting heart rate does
Yeah,
that as well.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So interesting, isn't it?
really
I,
great, isn't
I
it?
was fighting falling asleep as well. And I know you're not really
Yeah.
meant to, but I was fighting so hard.
It's interesting. We had a bit of a conversation about snorers, myself and the guy who runs it, because I was like, oh, people are snoring. It really worries me that it's disturbing other people. And he's like, no, that's their experience. You got to let them go. Other people just got to switch off to it. And I was like, oh, I don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah, you want to
Yeah.
go around and poke everyone like, stop
Yeah.
snoring.
But also doing your own training as well, because like we sometimes let our own goals go. I think, it might be that we started out in fitness. Most of us didn't just become a fitness instructor. We were doing fitness before we became a fitness instructor, because we had goals and we wanted to achieve something either physically or mentally. And then when we become a fitness instructor, sometimes we let that go, and we're not able to say, well, it was my goal to be able to lift this weight or to be this flexible or whatever it is. So, currently I'm trying to carve out some time to do something for me as well in that respect, so as I can have some, yeah.
That's really good to hear. Thank you for sharing that. And well done to you as well for doing that, because it is so, so important. We've got to look after number one. And like you said, it's something we say to our clients all the time. You've got to make sure you're filling up your cup. And then we're just, as instructors, sometimes really rubbish at actually doing that. So well done for putting you first. So now I've got a bit of a picture of where you're going, like with your personal sort of goals and fitness goals, like carving out more time for you. How about in terms of your business? Where do you see that going for both Revive and also for Wild Legs as well? Where do you see that going in I don't know, you could say the next year or the next 5 years? Where do you want to go?
So Revive kind of grows organically anyway, and as I say, I don't necessarily go out to seek new instructors. They kind of naturally come to us, which is great. I think we've got enough for now, though. Just in case any customers are watching this, just hold your horses. So yeah, I think we've got enough for now. And I just really want to focus on helping the instructors that we've got over the next year and getting them to a level where they're comfortable and they maybe want to, some of them might have goals that they want to back off from their other jobs and their other roles and spend more time doing fitness. And we all know how hard it is to transition from a full-time job or another full-time business to become a full-time or even, part-time fitness instructor. It's quite full on. It's quite a big move, I think. So I want to try and support them through that, because if I can help them to grow, it helps Revive to grow. So yeah, that's the Revive thing. I really love looking at. I've never been to a fitness event before either. Never. Right. So I'm going to my first fitness event in Aberdeen to Fits Up. So
Oh, amazing.
yeah,
Yes.
both from a point of view of seeing other brands in action from Revive, because I'd love to look at what other brands we might want to deliver. So we deliver a number of brands and a number of our own style classes. But for me, it's like, well, what is the next Club Size or the next Fitness Pilates that we might offer as a group? So it'd be great to do that, and obviously it'd be great to get Wild Legs out there as well,
Yeah, of
people seeing
course.
it. So
Well,
yeah,
we'll see you there. We're going as well. Yeah.
exciting. I
Come and try.
know.
Come try Yogascape.
Yeah, I would love to. I was talking about it with one of the new instructors actually, who's just qualified with her level two. We were saying what might she do, and yeah, you popped up on that list, so be great.
Yay.
Be great
Oh,
to
great.
see. But yeah, and with Wild Legs, I'm not really hugely money motivated. I'm more motivated by doing the thing and making the thing work. So you might notice that sort of my social media is not corporate, clean, slick. It's somebody, I don't know, Donna in Wales in her bedroom, excited, wearing her leggings, takes a selfie in a mirror, sends it to me. Yes, I'm going to post that. I'm not going to be, it has to be on clean background. You have to be in a gym and you have to look this way. It's always going to be like that. And if that loses me customers because it doesn't look like a big slick business, so be it. It's not a big slick business. It is Wild Legs. It is me and Kate and Simon and the team. Um, so I'm just going to let it grow organically. Um, we're not a company who would get investors or anything like that. I just want it to be. I just want it to be. I don't know what the word is really. I just want it to grow normally.
Yeah.
I don't want it to try and be something it isn't. It started because I had a passion for it and I love business and I had a passion for business. And I've seen so many customers just go from, I whipped my top off and I wore my bra and I felt really confident in my Wild Leg set. That's what it's all about. And for me, it will always be about that. If it gets too big, I think I would lose that. Um, and I don't want to lose that. I don't want it to be too big. I just want it to be a really wholesome, successful business that treats its customers really, really well, and makes enough money for us to continue with it and be happy with it, really.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I totally get that. A real authentic feel, and also a bit of like a community feel as
mm,
well. You're taking the snaps from your customers. They're in wherever they are, in their bedroom, in the studio, out on a walk, in
yeah,
their leggings. They're feeling great, and you're capturing that moment, that raw moment, and sharing that out there. I think also as well, when you're really, really passionate about something, and because I know you said, oh, it's not about the money, it's like about doing the thing. I just love building this business. I'm really passionate about it. I think that's what carries us forward as well. I think sometimes if you get lost in the trying to make money or making it really corporate, or something that's not quite aligned to you, you can lose the passion. And I think that's where, no matter what business you do, I think that's where you really struggle and it kind of leads to burnout.
yeah,
I think by keeping that burning passion and keeping evolving and doing what you're doing and listening to feedback and letting it just grow, and it will be what it will be, I think you'll be really successful with it. I don't see why not, Amanda. I see all your posts all the time and I think they're fantastic. I love the designs. They're just so great. They're so funky. And when you're scrolling through the newsfeed as well, they really pop out. They really do. So
That's
it's
great. Well,
amazing.
I hope it helps people to, and most people say it makes them feel happy. So that's good enough for me. Good enough.
Definitely. Oh, well, thank you ever so much, Amanda. And thank you for joining me on the podcast. And if someone wants to purchase some amazing wild legs leggings, where would they go? Where are you on socials and etc.?
Oh, yeah, we are Wild Legs Activewear, and the website is just wildlegs.co.uk, and you can find us on Instagram and Facebook. Just type in Wild Legs, and you should find us quite easily. So yeah,
That's amazing. And
we're
I
always
will see
happy
you
to
at
help
Fitness.
instructors as well. If there are any instructors out there, looking for help with sizing or just wanted some branding, we're always happy to chat as
Brilliant. Thank you. Well, no, thank you very much, Amanda. And I will see you at Fits Up as well.
well. Yeah, brilliant. Can't wait.
And if you enjoyed that episode, please like, subscribe, and share us on your socials at Yogascape Official or at Lorna Marie Fitness Official. Thank you so much for listening, and I really hope this has been a source of inspiration for you.